Do you ever wish you could be a fly on the wall for conversations between successful women entrepreneurs in different industries?
That's exactly what Breaking Even Better podcast is.
Every week, we'll share raw,
real,
and unfiltered insights from our experiences scaling our businesses
and helping others do the same.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Breaking Even Better. Today, we're busting a big myth. People think you need to have a ton of money to create a premium experience for your clients, and it's just not true. It isn't.
Not even close. We assume that premium means high end and expensive things, fancy packaging, and yada, yada, yada. But really, it's about how you make people feel.
Totally.
Exactly. And today we're sharing how to create a high-end experience without blowing your budget. Let's start with why do not women business owners, but all business owners think premium equals expensive?
I think that, with high-end brands, I think that sometimes people can think like, oh, well, if we're going to give them a nice gift, it needs to be an expensive gift. It needs to be something that's got a brand name or something that conveys how much somebody spent on their client, as opposed to something that might be a little bit more personal. So I think people mistake, premium with expensive when really premium might be personal, like, I don't know, like what are some of the things that are like must-haves for like a premium client experience? Like, does it have to be a name brand? What do you guys think?
Well, I think for client experience, something as simple as a card, a thank you card, that it's handwritten, can go a lot farther than if you buy some, I don't know, some expensive gift that you don't even know if that person is going to A, appreciate it, B,
Right,
use it, C, need it, right?
right,
So spending money on things that you don't even know this person, especially clients, right? Because we
right,
know each other as friends. We know what we like, we know the colors, we know the styles, but our client base, that's rarely the thing that right? So I think it's more about the personal touch.
I agree. I agree with you.
I also think, what
Here
they
we
say,
go.
scared money don't make no money. So I feel like sometimes you have to spend a little to get more sometimes. And then I also like thinking about luxury items. Let's think about cars like the Mercedes, we talk about so often. I feel like when we get a Mercedes, we know it's not going to be inexpensive, but just driving that, you may feel some type of premium experience. That's why they say it's a luxury car, it's a luxury brand. You want to feel luxurious in riding
Right.
it.
So how do we convey something like that to our clients? Because the thing about like having a luxury experience is great, and we want to convey that to our clients, but we also don't want to put them in a Mercedes while we're driving a Pinto. Like that's not really going to work for me either. So like, how do you, and I know like for me, I remember getting a gift a while back, and this is a while back, and they were very, very sweet, but they didn't really do a lot of research or ask a lot of questions, and they sent me a pair of earrings, which
Mm-hmm.
both of y'all know because you guys
Mm-hmm.
have gotten me earrings, but they have to be clip-on because my ears are not pierced. So again, that's not something that any of my like, and that was somebody who I was a client of theirs. And again, it was a thoughtful gift, but well, more accurately, it was a premium gift and an expensive gift that I ended up re-gifting because that's not. Now I understand that having your ears pierced is very common for women, especially in this country, but I'm not. That wasn't really for me. So like I always think about that gift giving experience when I try to do something good for a client that's got enough of a personal touch to it, but isn't so impersonal that it actually is something that they can't use. And I remember conversely making a mistake where I sent alcohol to a client and they didn't drink. So like I've kind of been on the converse side of it too, where I was like, oh, maybe, that personal touch, again, luxury brands being a great thing and like, hey, I'm going to send you Godiva chocolates or something like that. But kind of doing the research around like, how can I give this person a premium experience? I think premium can come on the heels of not so much money that was spent, but time, like doing the research, like finding out like what's something that would be meaningful.
I have an example, a recent example. When we were getting ready for the lunch party,
Mm-hmm.
we had ordered a step and repeat. The
Mm-hmm.
first one that came was huge. Like I couldn't even fit it in my car, huge. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what is this? And I went back in my notes and I went back through the screen looking to find out what did we order because I thought I ordered what we initially saw at the
Right.
place, the sleeve. And so I noticed that in order to make it in time, they changed it to vinyl. I'm like,
Right.
first of all, you can't fold that.
Right.
And secondly, it creases so quickly.
Yep.
So I got online that Sunday night, and I was looking for something, and I inboxed a guy on Facebook who um did the banners. He was a Facebook seller. And I had already put it in there. I designed it. I sent him the proofs from the other place. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, can you do this and get this to me by the weekend? And
Mm-hmm.
he was like, well, I'm not in control of shipping, but I can try. And he didn't want to promise me. When I tell you, he asked me one other question. He said, so you want it just like the picture? I said, yes, front only, blase, blase. When I woke up Monday morning, and this is 1 o'clock Sunday morning. When I woke up Monday morning, FedEx shipping label was in my thing, already shipped. I was like, oh my gosh. And we got it on time. Gave him
Right.
the best review yesterday. I think I wrote a book for him in his review because that's a premium experience for a
Yes,
lower cost,
Right.
right?
yes.
Because it
Right.
was less than the other one, probably about $15, I think less. But it's still, we got it on time. It's exactly what we want, and it looks amazing. So I feel like we got our money's worth in the amount of time, and he listened. And that's what premium experiences come from. You got to listen to your person or listen to your client and then act on it.
Mm. So that's a great point, Brenda. And I'm just curious, like, what are the must-haves for a premium client experience? Because I know we all talk about like gifting and, maybe they've been a client for a year, so you give them a little something, something, you give them something nice, but ultimately the experience they're really looking for is the experience with your business, whether it's a one-time situation or it's long term. So like, what would you guys qualify as like some absolute pivotal essentials that let your clients have tremendous experience with your business?
I think for me is clear and proactive communication. Like if the client knows what's coming up, what to expect, when to expect it, then that feels very personal and it feels that we're listening and paying attention rather than just whenever, right? So that communication to me is a premium experience.
I
One
think
of the reasons in our team that the rule is that when somebody reaches out to our team, the accounting team, in less than 48 hours, that email must be responded to, whether it's with the full answer or we got you, we're researching, we're going to get back to you. And this makes the client feel seen, heard, and we're not ignoring because what do you hate the most? Never getting a response, never knowing, am I getting this? Is it going to be fixed? Am I being taken care of? I don't know. I'm in the dark, right? So the premium experience we give is the communication.
I agree to that.
You deserve to feel like you and your business are thriving, not just surviving. Trish Samon's Get More Clients You Love book and program introduces the revolutionary alignment attraction framework that transforms how entrepreneurs and business owners attract and retain clients so that they can thrive. You can take the first step today for absolutely free. Just go to getmoreclientsyouLove.com and download your free step-by-step marketing plan. Just plug your answers into the prompts and you will have your roadmap to success. So go to getmoreclientsyouLove.com and download your free plan today.
I think personalization is important to me for a premium experience. Not even just coming to me, but me giving to my clients. I like it when I get an email from the hospital that says, "Hey girl, how was your weekend?" Or say something that I had told them previously and they remember when they contacted me, or even call me and ask me for a clinician by name. Say I want her back, or is she available, or something like that. That means a lot. That means they listen. And I feel the same way when I call them. I try to think of something that related us at one point or another and speak on that and then get into business. So personalization is key to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think like something Carolina said with regards to like proactive communication. I remember 187 years ago when I was still waiting tables and I was I'm very old now. I look good though for 187. So
And that surgery did some
oh, it
wonders
was
for
one, it did wonders for me. Thank you for that. Thank you for the recommendation too. Appreciate you, Caroline. So, but when I was working in a restaurant, I was, I was a waitress, I was a bartender, but I also ran restaurants and I had the team. And one of the things that was so important is as soon as somebody sat down at a table, didn't matter how busy you were, either you or send somebody to walk by and say hello. Even if you don't bring them anything, you don't, because like the meter is running in their mind. And that is clear and proactive communication in as much as somebody's like, somebody will be with you in a minute. So at least they know they have been acknowledged. They're not
Mm.
necessarily asking you to, jump on top of them. They just want to know that you have seen them. And the thing about acknowledgement, it is personal. Like you're acknowledging their humanity. So like I feel like both of your points were really well put. And I think that that's really when you transition into being a pro. When you know that the way to actually be proactive in your communication and personal in your communication and recognize that you can even send somebody an email and say, I saw your email. I cannot give you a detailed response right now, but I saw it and I'm getting to you. So nothing but love,
Right.
I'm coming, but I'm too busy. That's when you know that you've turned into a pro. When you're hiding from your clients, you're not there yet. Like that's
mm,
something that's really big. So I feel like we all strive for that seamless process. Like we all strive for it, but it doesn't always work, right? So one of the ways that you can overcome is just remember that the in your business, the people that you're dealing with are people. So be a pro and be proactive in your communication, and doing so makes the relationship stronger. So I just find like I just wanted to kind of echo what both of you said there because I feel like a premium client experience can be just the simple act of acknowledging them. You know what I mean?
It sounds like you're speaking more on professionalism. I think over delivering is also a great asset when you are trying to give a premium experience on a budget, because it's not saying over delivering is doing extra work, but by making sure your interaction exceeds expectations. You want to make sure that you, like I said, listen and respond to what the questions are. And just like you said, just acknowledge that it's an issue. And then you
Hmm.
can
yeah.
offer solutions, later. If you don't have them right now, you can offer them later, but definitely over delivering just to keep that as a mindset for your expectations when dealing with clients that you want to keep for the long haul.
Yes. Over delivering doesn't mean that you're giving away, your services or your time. It just means that the sort of the anticipation from the client is that you're doing this, but then you do that extra thing, and that is what they remember. Like, wow, they took the time to do this other thing that I was not expecting. I didn't think I paid for it. And then that's when you convert that into from transactional to relationship with the client for longevity with your client base.
Right, and it don't take a big budget to do that. Just takes intention. That was my word of the year for 2 years in a row, and a commitment to making clients feel important.
Yeah, I think that both of what you said, like what over delivering looks like, and I just want to put one finer point on it as well, that over delivering can also mean you like address a problem right away. And it doesn't mean like that you're offering a poor service. Part of service is addressing if there's an issue. And kind of like what you said earlier with the anecdote you gave earlier, Brenda, where you really weren't getting what you needed, but they were communicating with you like we're going to make it right. And sometimes that's where the premium can be, is like in the making it right, in the
Hmm.
addressing that like we're pros, but we're not perfect, and nobody's striving for that. And if you are, you're going to fail every time. So even for any of our listeners that have an issue that's like weighing heavily on them, like I need to address this and I'm scared, lean into it. That is good customer service. That is a premium experience. So to take that, to kind of spin it to the next point, Like, what are some of those extras? What are those like cherry on top things? Like you've got your basics, like take care of your clients, make sure you're communicating with them, make sure you acting like a pro and you're over delivering. But what are like the real nice to haves, like something that truly elevates or goes beyond the experience? I got to do the shameless plug, y'all. I got to throw it in there. But in all seriousness, what is the cherry on top? Like, what takes it to the next level?
Well, I'm going to say that, and this was something I learned from one of my clients and, longtime colleagues. She wrote a book about getting referrals without asking, and one of the things that I learned from taking her workshop was how important it was to do handwritten notes and, what it means to take the time to handwrite that note that is very personal and specific to the individual. I took it up a little extra notch where I actually draw, I do watercolor painting for those cards. And so now not only am I handwriting the note, but I actually did art that is thought about this particular person. And when they receive it, I know that it's meaningful to them, but it also gives me the opportunity as a business owner to think about the client and to think about how grateful of that relationship and that transaction. So it goes both ways. It serves to say thank you and give them an elevated experience, but it also helps me be reminded of why it is that I do what I do.
No pressure to any of our listeners. You just need to be a stellar artist and say thank you and handwrite. So if you would like to be like Carolina, by all means, I actually think it's beautiful. And I've gotten one of those thank you notes, and they are beautiful. And it's actually sitting on my desk as we speak. So it is. It's really nice. And that is, I mean, truly about as personal. Talk about like an energy exchange or, like a true thank you. It's just extra. What about you, Miss Brenda? What do you think are some cherry on top stuff?
So I know a lot of companies like to do a bunch of employee appreciations, and I wish I was able to do that a lot, but just time consuming, I can't. So I try to do one event at the end of the year, and I call it the end of the year celebration for those who don't celebrate the holidays too much. So it's the end of the year celebration where we can give out bonuses, we have prizes, and it's all on the company, not they don't have to pay for anything. And I feel like they look forward to it. The ones who've been with me for a while, they're like, "Are we doing this year?" And I like the fact that they're saying we and making it inclusive. So I feel like that's my cherry on top because I want to treat them for doing such a great job all year. During Nurses Week in the past, and hopefully this year, I'll be able to send out. I only sent out like Starbucks cards to all the nurses and stuff. So, just small things that I know as a clinician when I was out there, the small things that matter. It's the small things. And a lot of people right now need that extra smile.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'll say too, and one of the things that I'm like really excited about with regards to breaking even better is that I can't wait after we have been doing this for a minute and we start building the community because there are going to be other business owners that, are going to have thoughts and they're even maybe disagree with us or they're going to have different things, but I want to build the community around what it means to like be a better business owner. And one of the things that I can't wait to do is like have things like VIP access for our listeners and stuff and like give them, hey, by the way, we're doing this exclusive thing, or hey, we got this little extra bonus. And I don't even want to say some of the ideas that we have because I'm gonna make y'all wait. But yeah, so I'm just very excited because I can't wait for us to be able to like deliver a VIP experience too for not our clients, but I mean, of course, for our clients, but our listeners and people who are a part of the community because they're in the boat with us. They just don't happen to have a mic in front of them, but they're in the boat with us. So I'm just looking forward to that. But with regards to my own clients, one of the things that I've been working on with Brian a lot is SOPs and like dialing and tightening and tightening and tightening and tightening. Because what I realized, like one of the emails that I send out as soon as somebody closes with us, which I didn't do for a long time, is a welcome to Go Beyond email. So it's like, thanks so much for your business. Here's what you can expect. And it's spelled out like, here's where you need to sign your contract if they haven't already, or here's where I need your payment form. Here's your onboarding form. Here's what the next 90 days are going to look like. And again, it depends on what they're getting. But for the most part, I like to make them feel like they've just made a purchase. They're like, wow, I spent X amount of dollars and I really hope it's going to go somewhere. I'm like, I got you, boo. This is what it's going to look like moving forward. So that not only do they feel good about their purchase, they feel good about the relationship that's being developed. You know what I mean? Like you just want to make that experience feel I made the right call. And I feel like that's like the premium experience, like that polished experience. You know what I mean?
I do. I just wanted to add real quick before we moved on, but I was thinking about last month. Being a business owner is very stressful, right? We are responsible for paying people's salary and taking care of their family and ours, right?
Yep.
And the company and the image. So I got an email from one of my nurses. I was switching payroll companies and was trying to get things situated, and she was having difficulties. Finding something. So I'm like walking her through it, and she sent the email, and I believe I got it that morning. But it was the sweetest email. She said, "You always are on top of it and always keeps us in the loop." And I was just like, "That's what I'm talking. You see me." I'm like, you see me because I don't tell them nothing, right? I don't sit there and complain. I just handle it. And I want them, and I don't let them know when I'm going through some issues. But just for her to send that at that time, I was like, thank you. And I appreciate you too. But that's the small gesture that we was mentioning. You can give it and receive it is the point.
Well, I mean, I think as parents, we end up in that boat, in the same, boat that we are as business owners, right? There is this expectation that we're supposed to just do for others and solve problems and take care of everybody. And then we're like the last ones, right? Like we're behind the scenes, we're making sure everything's taken care of. And yes, we're making money. And is that thank you enough? I don't know. But back to being a parent, it's like you do all of these things for your kids, and they just take it for granted, or they just assume that's just the way it is because you're the parent. And I think it's the same thing in business. But when you get that recognition, I remember my daughter, my youngest one, something had happened and I had taken care of it, and she sent me a text message. I'm gonna cry.
Oh,
She said, I want you to know that I appreciate you more than you ever know.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a child that's not very expressive. She's not very touchy-feely. So just those words like made everything make sense, right?
Mm-hmm. I
So I
know.
think as business owners, sometimes we also need that.
so you gave your daughter a premium daughter experience, is what you did. Like you gave it
On a budget.
gave her, gave her a premium daughter experience, and they're tough to win over. So the teenagers in particular. So if they're
Mhm.
coming up and saying thank you very much, like I feel like there's no harder audience than teenagers.
No, remember this past weekend when my daughter said, I don't know if you were there or Brenda was there, and my oldest one said, my job is to keep my mom humble.
That is it. And she
Yes.
did say that.
Make no mistake, sister, you do every day. Keep me humble. I will never get too big for my britches. Thank you, children, for that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. Oh, that was funny. Okay, so I know we already mentioned a couple, but I'm gonna put you guys on the spot and see if you have any other real life experiences with clients specifically. But either, and I would love to kind of open this up to either a client experience you had, much like you were pointing out, Brenda, or one that we have given that we know that our clients really like. So open it up to either one of you. Have you experienced or have you offered that experience in a real world example?
With the e-commerce, I feel like one of our customers had ordered a shirt and evidently the inventory, which I did, and I'm very anal about that. But we was missing the shirt. So I had a new package come in that these shirts are a lot more expensive, but it was the same size color she wanted. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna upgrade her shirt. So I sent her what we had from what she ordered, and then I added that shirt in as an extra so she can at least even see the shirt. But she said she was like, this isn't what I ordered, but I love it. That was her note. I was like, ah, thank you, girl. So yeah, the stuff, little stuff like that make me excited when I make someone else excited. So she was like, she just appreciated the fact that I even tried to accommodate her second order. And that's what we was looking for. We want a return customer, so you have to do things like that sometimes.
Right. And
Mhm.
you want them happy too. You don't want them to leave.
Absolutely. I would never
Right.
tell her I don't have it, even though I did the inventory. Somebody's been messing.
What about you, Carolina?
Well, I can tell you that when I started doing strategic planning sessions, they weren't as exciting as I wanted them to be. And so I had to like step back and think about how can I make this experience personal, exciting, and the client to remember the reason they signed up to do this session with me. And so I took it up a notch. And then I made it very personal by having the whiteboard and it says welcome, their name of, the company or the team. I have the TV on, playing on a loop with a presentation of their company. I grab the stuff from the website and, do some slides so that when they're in the room, it's all about them. And
Smart.
then I make sure that afterwards they get a very in-depth summary that touches on the things that they said were the most important things to them. They didn't even know they were telling me that, but I was capturing that information and I put it on paper and it just made their experience. And then the referrals started coming in because they're like, oh no, you got to do a session with her.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have another one that I will share as well that was recent, and it was with Nicole's company. So that had so many different challenges to it because Nicole, who will be a guest on Miss Nicole Maloney of Solaris Strategic Wealth, she's just a ball of energy and she has a lot of really passionate feelings around her rebrand. And her rebrand, and I know I'm not talking out of school here, came on the heels of her losing her mentor, who was also her business partner. So there were so many emotions to kind of like navigate them through. And then she was also working with her partner, who is her life partner, her husband. So they had different, visions on what direction the company should go in. So we sat down and did an entire rebrand, everything from the language to the name to how it was going to look. And there were so many emotions that were happening. So in a lot of ways, I was like, I feel like I'm a marketing therapist is kind of what's happening. I'm kind of like pulling them through because there were such strong and her partner Debbie was so beloved by all of them that it was very important to me that I balance between being firm and saying we're moving forward with this and being a pro, but also recognizing the heart behind it. And I knew that I got Nicole. I knew that we landed it and that she was so excited. Just the screenshot of the homepage, we hadn't even launched yet. Just the screenshot of the homepage. She kept saying, "Guys, look at what I got here. Look at what I got here." And then but Nicole's easier to win over. It was like Doug. I was like, I don't know how Doug's gonna feel about this. Like, see how it goes. And then as the process, because again, he's just more process minded. He's almost more like an engineer, whereas Nicole is more of like a, brilliant and also like a little sprite. She's like, look at us, she's so, ball of energy. You guys know. And but Doug was going to be harder to convince, but it's just because what he needed versus what she needed were different. And I was like, all
Right.
right, he needs more process. He needs to know what's going on. He needs the spreadsheet. She needs the sizzle. So it was very interesting to kind of go through the whole process. And at the end, even offer, I started to kind of almost predict what he was going to need. I'm like, you want this in a place where you can touch it. We can put it in Canva so you don't have to reach out to us to do it. Like you want to have a little more autonomy around your brand. And he started to like, I started to see him. He's like, oh, I was looking forward to talking to you. And it was kind of interesting to win both of, two partners over at the same time. And now they're really pleased. As a matter of fact, I just got a review from them last night. So it was a very positive experience all the way around. So and again, it was even trickier because I did know them, prior to, so that like that was and it sounds like, oh, well, they're just friends. I'm like, no, it's almost harder when you know
Mhm.
them privately because you want to deliver and sometimes it's hard to communicate out of that. So with
I
all
love
that,
that for you. I love
yeah,
that for you and for them.
yeah. It was a good experience all the way around. And really, the website's one of our favorites. It as a company, one of our favorites that we ever put out. It just looks so, and it so suits her. So it just made me very pleased. That was, really cool about that. I loved that. So, just to kind of bring it, we're going to land the plane a little bit here. So, do you guys have any other like personal experiences where you received great customer service? I know we've kind of touched on a few. If you have any others, you want to throw them out there, or we can kind of just land the plane. What do you guys think? You got any others you want to share?
I mean, we could talk all day long
Well,
about many
that's right.
experiences.
I mean, I have one that involves Carolina.
Oh,
When I was
Ooh,
in the
yes.
process, and I'm sure we're gonna have an episode on purchasing buildings and or purchasing property and working with your spouse and extra, all that stuff. But I was trying to purchase this huge building. I was in love, I thought I was with it. And like the day before, things just kind of fell apart. So Carolina was like, come to the office. And just like she said, she had the TV on. She didn't have it on for me, but her example was having the TV on. She had all my stuff laid out on the table. So when me and my husband walked in, she was like, this is this is this is this. And she said, so you're in the situation or you're in the perfect place to purchase something. It's not about your finances. And we'll get into the rest of that later. But that experience I did get from her, and I felt very seen, and I felt like she heard, saw me, and she understood what we were looking for and what we was trying to do.
I
So thank
love
you.
this. That's such a great story. Thank you for sharing that, Brenda. I love that.
Yes,
Carolina, look, Brenda love you. See what just
I
happened?
do.
Oh,
well, the
that's
love
awesome.
is
Well,
mutual.
what was that? I missed what you said.
The love is mutual.
There it is. Love
Indeed.
is mutual. All right. So, for all of our listeners, if there is one thing that you can take away from today's episode, I want you to know that it isn't having a premium experience isn't necessarily tied to money. It's like Brenda's word of the year, it's focused on intentionality, right? Right. So, that's what you want to do is you want to be intentional and, be proactive and be
Be
thoughtful
thoughtful, right? Be
and
thoughtful.
go beyond what's expected of you. Hey, so
And remember, please remember, people don't remember what you gave them. They remember how you made them feel.
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, listeners, so we do want to hear from you. So what's one small thing that you can do today to elevate your client experience? Drop your ideas in the comments and tag us on social.
And if you love this episode, share it with a fellow business owner who needs to hear this.
Until next time, keep breaking even.
And making it better.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Breaking Even Better podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a minute to leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content. To connect with our podcast or any of us individually, make sure you head to the show notes for all the links you need. See you in the next episode.